Today, my colleague Faisal and I will be talking about how IB can support a school's vision in international education. In the past 18 months, educators from early childcare centers right up to universities have all been challenged to do things very differently because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The future is characterized by changes which we cannot even yet comprehend. Joey Ito, the director of MIT Media Lab, has a great quote in his book titled Whiplash: How to Survive Our Fast Future. He says that in a digital society full of complexity and uncertainty, what we need and what our students require are less maps and more compasses. For Ito, a map implies predefined, unchanging knowledge of a terrain around us, as well as the existence of a single best route or pathway. But in a world or workforce that is constantly changing, stable maps no longer apply. The compass, on the other hand, is a far more flexible tool that requires the user to employ creativity, autonomy in discovering his or her own path. In 2021, this requirement for us all to be more adaptable, to think on our feet, and to be well equipped to utilize tools around us in the face of uncertainty has never been more relevant. For some time now, we have been living in a rapidly accelerating digital world, and with the impact of COVID-19, the need for us to accept and incorporate technology into our everyday lives is more prominent than ever. From smart devices in our pockets to the endless streams of popular social media networks, we're now linked to one another and to all prior human data, information, and knowledge in countless convergent ways. This situation has profound implications for our students. If the digital age is about interactions and systems rather than static, stable objects and things, we must ensure how we learn, teach, and assess the outcomes of education is reflective in this change. In this new digital world, it is no longer enough for students to passively study pre-established unchanging content to be recalled or evidenced in an archaic analog format. It isn't education for the digital age, but a series of lost opportunities. As educators, it is really our calling to empower students to forge their own way through this data-immersed and media-rich landscape. Through their education, it is incumbent upon us as educators to give them the compass, the skills they need to effectively navigate the fourth industrial revolution, which is already upon us. As we look ahead to the future of education, we must consider the requirements of the future workplace. Indeed, the successful worker of both today and of the future need to be flexible and mobile and more skilled than ever before in adaptability, reflection, and self-direction. The need for direct skills and knowledge is constantly diminishing as we lose the ability to predict what is the careers of the future. What careers of the future would look like. It is in the development of inquiring, curious, and critical learners that we will best serve the workforce of the future. In our increasingly interconnected world, the importance of being able to communicate across boundaries is also comes to the forefront. We are no longer limited to engaging with within those inside our local network. We have endless possibilities to connect with, to learn from, to trade between, to develop relationships with individuals from all over the globe. We have an unmissable opportunity to build a global network of collaborators and colleagues, and as such, international mindedness. A view of the world in which people see themselves connected to the global community and assume a sense of responsibility to its members is a characteristic that has never been more critical to success. Allow me to showcase an example. In June 2012, the Japanese government, in its report on Global Human Resource Development Strategy by the Prime Minister's Council on Promotion of Human Resource for Globalization Development, it reflects a rising awareness within the private, public, and academic spheres that Japan must do a better job in developing global human resources. So people are capable of thinking independently and exercising leadership in a culturally diverse international environment if it is to play a leading role in today's globalized society and economy. School education in Japan has long functioned as a means of transmitting the unique culture of Japanese people have developed over the centuries. Japan's Basic Act of Education defines the aim of education as nurturing the builders of a democratic state and society. To fulfill this mission, Japanese schools must offer a curriculum better adapted to society's changing needs. For years, Japanese educators have been calling for a curriculum emphasizing student-directed learning, learning how to learn, adaptation, applied knowledge and skills, problem-solving skills. In short, a curriculum oriented to the practical and flexible application of knowledge in a changing world. In our role as educators, we can help foster this mindset through a curriculum that combines local and global contexts and reflects international and multicultural perspectives. We can encourage language learning as a tool to overcome cultural boundaries. And we can foster global awareness by creating opportunities for students to explore their role and their understanding of global issues outside the classroom context. So going back to the Japanese government example, the Ministry of Education collaborated with the IB to develop the IB Dual Language Diploma, where some subjects are taught and assessed in Japanese. What this meant for the Japanese schools is that they become a member of a global community of schools. The schools will no longer be Japanese schools, but will have to become active members of an international community of learners. There will be a broader range of professional development opportunities for teachers that is normally provided in Japan, a greater emphasis on the service to local community, and more opportunities for students to connect with other IB students from around the world. It also means that teachers and schools are to shift to a more concept-based approach to teaching and learning, with a greater emphasis on the social construction of knowledge, inquiry, and synergistic thinking that is at the core of the IB education. So at the International Baccalaureate, we're known as IB, we have been foregrounding the value of conceptually rich, holistic, creative, and collaborative approaches to education for over 50 years. Different education trends come and go, but IB steadfastly supports teachers and students' inquiry, context-specific flexibility, and authentic coursework-based assessments. As a research-based curriculum, the IB model is as relevant now as it was 50 years ago. And although this model has remained the same, the IB courses are constantly reviewed, constantly and continuously reviewed and adapted to meet current educational needs. And this validating the efficacy of the 4 IB programs. At the center of the International Baccalaureate IB education, International Baccalaureate education, are students aged 3 to 19 with unique learning styles, strengths, and challenges. The IB focuses on each student as a whole. Thus, IB programs addresses not only cognitive development, but social, emotional, and physical well-being. The aim is to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people with adaptable skills to tackle society's complex challenges and who will help to make a better, more peaceful world. The 4 IB programs emphasize learning how to learn and teaching students to value learning as an essential, integral part of their everyday lives. Through a unique curriculum with high academic standards, we champion critical thinking and flexibility for learning by crossing disciplinary, cultural, and national boundaries. Currently, there are more than 1.95 million IB students attending over 5,500 schools across 159 countries. For your information, the IB education is well valued even at governmental level. We have formal partnerships with governments around the world, including in Malaysia. My colleague Faisal will talk more about this in a while. Our internationally minded approach delivers learning through fostering empathy, neuro-linguistic diversity, and cultural respect. This learning methodology moves past knowledge transfer to knowledge use, analysis, and innovation. Traditional systems and subjects with examination-based knowledge transfer make it difficult to differentiate between a student who has gained true understanding of the subject matter and one who has simply memorized the necessary answers. We really must ask ourselves, is this method of preparing students to thrive in the changing world acceptable? The IB emphasizes critical thinking and application for knowledge instead of knowledge recall. This style of education and examination, so learning to apply knowledge and skills rather than simply recall facts, offer skills that will last a lifetime. To measure what students have learned and to monitor their progress, IB teachers use a range of assessment strategies, including formative assessment that provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to develop their teaching and by students to identify their strengths and weaknesses and target areas that need improvement. Teachers use summative assessment, which are internationally benchmarked for all the students and are criterion reference. This means that students are measured against a set of agreed upon learning outcomes, rather than graded on a bell curve, as in normed reference assessments. Now is our opportunity really to tear up that map book and explore new pathways of education by giving our students their own toolkit of skills, their own compass in which to navigate. We can effectively prepare them to take on the unknowns of tomorrow as successful global citizens who are equipped to contribute to a better world. Let me now hand over to my colleague Faisal, who will showcase IB in Malaysia and also provide you with information about the IB programs that can truly prepare students for the future.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everyone is well and safe, and thanks for joining the session today. In this slide, I'm sharing the information about the IB's current presence in Malaysia. In Malaysia, there are 36 authorized IB World Schools offering a range of IB programs. This number excludes the number of candidate schools. There are 10 PYP programs, schools or primary years program. 21 schools offer middle years program or MYP. 20 schools offer diploma program or TP. And 2 schools are authorized to offer the IB career-related program or CP. And we are pleased to also say that the Malaysian Qualification Agency, MQA, have granted equivalencies for MYP, IB Diploma Program, and career-related program. As mentioned by Stephanie earlier, the IB has been in collaboration with governments around the world, including in Malaysia. I would like to share with you that through the agency Inovasi Malaysia, AIM, the IB works with the Ministry of Education Malaysia to implement the IB Middle Years Program MYP, and the project started in 2013. This establishment of a cohort of 10 government secondary schools as Center of Excellence for the IB Middle Years Program will act as a model of best practices for other government secondary schools to further broaden the impact of wider educational reform in this country. For your information, one of the schools selected to be under this project was the SNK Sungai Tapang in Kuching, Sarawak. The IB Middle Years Program, MYP, are implemented to Form 1 until Form 5 students in this school. SMK Sungai Tapang Sarawak also was successfully became the first school to be authorized as compared to other schools in this project. The school's principal at the time was Mr. Janet. Here is a short video. I'm going to play this video. Moving now. Here's a short video on the implementation of MYP at SMK Sungai Tapang. The current principal is Ms. Angela Bong. Previously, she was the MYP coordinator before she was promoted to become a principal after Mr. Janet has retired. So the IB MYP framework has been integrated with the Malaysian national curriculum and helped the school to maintain its identity and culture while adopting international curriculum and promote international mindedness to their school. Sorry, to their students. In the MYP student, in their final years, they will be able to explore an area of personal interest over an extended period. It provides them the opportunity to consolidate their learning and develop important skills they need in both further education and life beyond the classroom. It also helps them develop confidence to become principal and lifelong learners. This personal project assess student approaches to learning ATL skill for self-management, research, communication, critical and creative thinking, and collaboration. The report for this personal project is assessed by the supervisor and in the school and externally moderated by the IB to ensure a globally consistent standard of excellence. Each project is awarded a final achievement grade. Now, I will talk more about the IB programs. The IB Primary Years Program, PYP, is for children aged 3 to 12 years old. This slide is showing 6 subject areas and 6 transdisciplinary teams in the PYP. PYP students also to learn more than 1 languages from the age of 7. For this overall expectation for each subject area within each age range are specified in the detailed scope and sequence document provided by the IB. This scope and sequence can be mapped, for example, with the national subject-based syllabus as an example, the Malaysian national curriculum. Then 6 transdisciplinary teams allow these subject areas to be explored in a unit of inquiry. The PYP program of unit of inquiry is defined by this team that are considered worthy of inquiry regardless of the age of the student. Each team is explored in a unit of inquiry that is planned and documented on a PYP planner. Meanwhile, the PYP exhibition is an event where students are given the opportunity to share their understanding of a real issue or topic they have covered during their PYP years. It's a great way to help students reflect on all their learning while developing skills of presentation and assessment. The exhibition is one of the final experiences of the IB PYP done at the end of the final year. As part of the exhibition, students will be encouraged to explore and document their understanding of important topics and learn from each other. The IB Middle Years Program, MYP, is for students aged 11 to 16. Yeah. I briefly mentioned about the MYP project in Malaysia earlier in partnership with the Ministry of Education Malaysia. MYP is interdisciplinary based, where students come to understand bodies of knowledge and modes of thinking from 2 or more subject groups and integrate them to create new understanding, but the learning is nevertheless rooted into discipline. The MYP consists of 8 subject groups, as you can see on the slide. Students' study is supported by a minimum of 50 hours of instruction per subject group in each academic year. In year 4 and year 5, students have the option to take courses from 6 of the subject groups. Meanwhile, as mentioned in the earlier slide, the MYP projects provide students the opportunity to demonstrate what they have learned in the MYP. The optional MYP e-assessment provide external evaluation for students in MYP year 5, typically for 5 students in the Malaysian National Education Structure, which this qualification also leads to the internationally recognized IB MYP certificate and IB MYP course result. The MYP certificate is recognized by the MQA as equivalent to SPM. IB Diploma or DP is a 2-year disciplinary-based program for students aged 16 to 18 years old or grade 11 and 12 or lower 6 or upper 6 in the Malaysian system. The IB Diploma program is a 2-year disciplinary-based program and it is one of the most popular programs among IB schools in Malaysia. To ensure both breadth and depth of knowledge and understanding, DP students must choose at least one subject from each of the 6 subject groups. Students may choose either an art subject from group 6 or second subject from group 1 to 5. 1 and 5. At least 3 and not more than 4 subjects are taken at a higher level, while the other subjects are taken at standard level. In addition to those disciplinary and interdisciplinary study, the DP features 3 core elements that broaden students' educational experience and challenge them to apply their knowledge and skills. The DP core elements are the extended essay, which is an independent, self-directed piece of research where students finishing with a 4,000-word paper. The theory of knowledge, TOK course is where students reflect on the nature of knowledge and on how we know what we claim to know. And then finally, the Creativity Action Service, CAS, is a project related to these 3 concepts. The IB Diploma program has gained recognition and respect from the world-leading universities for students' success in the IB often result in advanced standing, course credit, scholarships, and other admissions related benefit at many universities. Higher education institutions around the world admit students based on their IB credentials, and many have specific admission policies and guidelines for IB students. Admission criteria can be different widely across educational system and selectivity of the institution. More information about the recognition of the DP by country can be found on IB website. And as mentioned before, DP is recognized by the MQA as equivalent to STPM, Sdn Tinggi Pelajaran Malaysia. Now, there are various research reports available on IB website that shows performance of DP students in the universities worldwide as compared to their comparison group such as A-level. Here are 3 examples of research conducted in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and USA. The first one is the study by the Higher Education Statistics Agency in the UK that shows that among full-time first-year students enrolled at universities in the UK, previous enrollment in the DP significantly increases students' likelihood of attending a top 20 universities. The IB Diploma students were less likely to enroll in a STEM subject during their first year of student as compared with A-level student. Among the students who had successfully completed a full-time first degree at university, IB Diploma student had a significantly greater likelihood of earning a first-class honors degree than did A-level student. And finally, IB Diploma students were significantly more likely to be engaged in further study after leaving higher education than A-level students. Meanwhile, the ACS International School have been conducting annual research for more than 13 years in partnership with the College Association of the UK and Ireland, IBSCA, and the IB. The research involved more than 80 UK and US admission offices, comparing the IB Diploma program and A-level students. As shown on the slide, DP students have been exceptionally different and better than A-level students. Here is the testimonial. Here are the testimonials from top universities, including from the University of Cambridge in the UK, where in 2010, in Telegraph newspaper in the UK, the director of admission said that because the IB differentiate better than A-level, if we are hesitating about making an offer at all, we would be more likely to make an offer to an IB student than an A-level student. There are many successful stories and well-known DP alumni This slide show a few well-known alumni, including two from Malaysia, Mr. Khairi Jamaluddin and Mr. Lutfi Fadil Lokman. Mr. Khairi currently is the Ministry of Health, and Lutfi Fadil Lokman, he was the CEO of Hospital Beyond Boundaries. So he set up a humanitarian hospital in Cambodia and also Malaysia. Comment from Monash University, Malaysia. The IB is a very relevant qualification for students seeking global education option and careers. The highly inquisitive nature of IB graduate has helped them thrive at Monash University, where they are challenged in their journey with us to apply themselves creatively and critically towards becoming responsible global citizens who are seeking to make a difference in the world. Finally, the IB career-related program of CP. This is the fourth IB program. It's also designed for high school student or for student age 16 to 19. So it is equivalent to IB diploma program and also STPM. The CP framework allows students to specialize in and focus on a career-related pathway. Through the CP's flexible framework, school can create very unique, distinctive version of the program. CP students undertake a minimum of 2 IB diploma program courses, a core consisting 4 components and career-related studies. Yeah, so as you can see, there are 3 elements here. For students, for CP students, DP courses provide the theoretical underpinning and academic rigor of the program. The career-related study further support of the program's academic strength and provide practical, real-world approaches to learning. And finally, the CP core help them to develop skills and competencies required for lifelong learning. And the CP core component of the CP, first, the personal and professional skills. Secondly, service learning, language development, number 3, and also finally the reflective project. For the career-related study or CRS, school could develop their own CRS, choose from our global CRS partners as shown on this slide, or the school could also choose other potential partner, even local partner in Malaysia or in Sarawak, yeah, for example, professional or certification body or university foundation program. However, this CRS must meet the IB requirement in terms of the delivery. For example, the program must be delivered within the 2 years of the CP. Secondly, the accreditation recognition of the program. And finally, quality assurance. So among the top career-related studies in the CP are business and marketing, engineering, IT programming, visual, performing arts and photography, food and culinary, sport, media, and education. And as mentioned, in the earlier slide, CP also has received the equivalency by the Malaysian Qualification Agency for admission to undergraduate program in the universities in Malaysia. And final slide, let's now, I would like to share with you the overview of the IB authorization process. So in order to teach IB program schools, it must be authorized by the IB. The authorization process is school focused and aimed to promote a culture of school readiness by allowing school to determine their own readiness schedule based on the satisfactory completion of authorization process milestones. The IB authorization process has been designed to support school in making the decision to become an IB World School, understanding the nature and requirement of the IB program, defining their readiness to implement the program, planning to sustain the program in the long term. The authorization process has a number of phases, each of which has distinctive objective and related timeframes. School will work with members of the IB development team to complete the projected timeline. School should review the timeline with a consultant once the candidacy has been granted and throughout the process based on the implementation progress. Thank you so much for listening and for your participation. Now we can take questions from the audience.